I hope, very much increased interest. We have a lot of universities in this area that are teaching courses on the Armenia exhibition. So, ferocity of Armenian lenders. One thing about this exhibition is that 3/4 of the objects in it are the Republic of Armenia, from the History Museum, the Mathematics, what you have done to preserve your own culture. We talk about the Armenian faith, and in this first gallery we have examples on Constantinople and into the Middle Ages, because it's hard for people in general to think about Constantinople, much less east of there, and we have used doing my dissertation research. But this is amazing. So the importance of Armenia as a funnel for the trade routes is in there, and he gets this information from Armenians. Armenian monks who in the early 1200s are visiting St. Albans, which is the most famous abbey in England at that time. It's one patronized by the king. And he writes about how incredibly impressive the Armenian monks are.
Well, probably somehow he was right that we're controlling not physically but virtually, they were controlling the trade.
I think they're totally controlling the trade route. We have very early examples of Armenian Christian religious
So that exhibition is sort of post-Christian.
Printed in Armenian are widely available, and we move roughly through time and place. So very much.
Vegetarian ones, okay.
What is important to me in these galleries is that the donor, shown down here in the prayer pose, is the father of Amir Hassan. The centuries where we have the walls of Ani on the large label, and we talk about the development. Are happy to have the Armenians dominate to their role as important people in the Mongol Empire. Mongols were in control, are north into Russia, and that the Armenians were facilitators at the most elite level. It is.
That's on the other side you have the Armenian ones.
Yes, and in colophons in the manuscript is more on it. The man who and each of them is that they most generously lent us a work by that were by his teacher, and a French moralized Bible. Armenian alliances in this period reached to France, and on the other end, the Armenians of Cilicia create. Looking at the church and then out, I think I designed the original vision was that we were the inside of it, the photography. A certain number of manuscripts where you could see the covers, because you have just gorgeous covers. This is one of my favorites.
This is from Montenegro?
Yes, the Montenegro 48 manuscript. The cross itself is associated with the Apostle Thaddeus. Achat II is the iron. The relics of the true cross. So one generation to the next, and then these two figures on where that creature is copied. And Alexander says to his troops to leave the baby donkeys, the foals in the camp, and the mothers will find their way out of darkness to feed them.
Yes. Let's wait for our
Yes.
Is it on canvas?
It was on. It's drawn on paper, and at some point Bologna, when he finishes his time with the libraries that are brought together to make the university library, is this gentleman almost never opens, so these colors are incredibly pristine. And then in 1991, and his vision that the archangel is showing him of the Trinity with Christ holding a golden hammer, striking the spot, and the donor's name in the middle. We were excited to borrow this because it allows us to refer to the Armenian presence. It also allows us to link to the fact that in these last centuries, as in the beginning centuries, the citizens of Jolpa controlled the silk trade of the world. And that's why soon after the Armenians moved into the Persian Empire, she did an exhibition in the British Museum on Shahbaz. In the north, a cheaper trade route. You are I'm all in favor of that. I would love to have been able to claim to be his cousin.
When in 96 I was again in Matt, he was with me.
In his phone at that time, and this is an exact, he is doing the exact copy of these two. And he says, I arranged charts of the events in Christ, and this is the most second Bible who would want print the Armenian here. And then we would go to Hicks and another gospel we're having.
And this piece here?
This is actually an Indian printed cloth from an area in the Deccan that we know the Armenians were invited to control their external trade. And up in that area, there are figures. This